Awaken Report. Today our topic of discussion will be Sharia law.
Sharia law is an Islamic legal system based off the Islamic holy book, the Quran.
This map shows the list of countries that partially or entirely practice Sharia law, which of the following are Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Sudan, Mauritania, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. Breaking laws usually resulted in execution, but the Quran does not identify a form of execution. Beheading was regarded as the most efficient and most merciful way of executing someone.
People who murder under Sharia law get the death penalty. Who commit sexual offenses like rape and sex before marriage will also get the death penalty.
In Sharia law, any marriage that is forced or false in any way is not a proper.
There are certain foods banned under Sharia law. This includes alcohol and any meat that comes from a pig. Vegetables, fruits, grains, seafood, and meat providing that it has been killed in the kindest way possible and has had the appropriate prayers said before its death are all permitted under Sharia law.
Sharia law does not require a woman to wear a burqa. There are all sorts of items of dress which are worn by Muslim women, and these vary all over the world. Burqas belong to particular areas of the world where they are considered normal dress. In other parts of the world, the dress is totally different. The rule of dress for women is modesty. The word hijab implies covered. Sharia prohibits acceptance of specific interest or fees for loans of money, whether the payment is fixed or floating. Investment in businesses that provide goods or services considered contrary to Islamic principles is also prohibited.
Islamic extremist groups like Boko Haram and ISIS have enforced Sharia laws like clothing laws in the states that they control. However, they do often break their own laws. Many of the punishments for broken laws are very specific. For example, consumption of alcohol is punished by lashes, but when it comes to prosecuting under Sharia law, it is much more complicated. There must be male witnesses to prove someone guilty of any crime, except for rape. This makes it very hard to prove people guilty and actually enforce the laws.
Many misconceptions about Sharia law come from Islamic extremist organizations like ISIS, the Taliban, and Boko Haram's interpretation and enforcement of the Quran. But many Muslim communities do not enforce laws to the extent that the extremist organizations do. For example, most Muslim communities won't take the saying an eye for an eye literally, whereas the extremist organizations do. Many aspects of Sharia law are consistent with modern legal rules found in American law. For example, both legal systems allow rights to personal property, mutual consent contracts, the presumption of innocence in criminal proceedings, and the right of women to initiate divorce proceedings. If and when religious laws conflict with the American law, the free exercise and establishment clauses of the First Amendment prohibit American government, including the courts, from substituting religious laws for civil law or following religious laws that violate civil law. This prohibition applies to all regions equally.